Hi, I'm Karen Holton, ET and Angelic Experiencer, author, exopolitical ambassador, ascension coach, and content creator.
And I'm Joan Widen, clairvoyant medium, Reiki master teacher, energy healer, body, mind, and soul coach, and podcaster.
And this is the Unseen Nexus podcast.
Have you ever truly wondered what lies beyond the veil?
Or want to learn more about our transdimensional neighbors?
Join us as we unravel the mysteries of existence, from profound spiritual awakenings and ancient wisdom,
to interstellar visitors, cutting-edge discoveries, and the complex conspiracies that bind them all.
We're on a journey to uncover the truth about humanity's extraordinary place in the cosmos.
Get ready to challenge your perceptions and expand your understanding.
Your spiritual mashup has begun.
And we're back. Hi, Joan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And you, Karen?
I'm doing pretty good. Hanging in there. I'm really excited about
Right.
today. I've got a little quick preamble I'm going to read here. This is season 1, episode 6 of Unseen Nexus, and we're going to talk about the victim triangle. Today, we're peering into the social reality of the victim triangle. Find out why this dynamic is so popular, even though it is completely useless as a social pattern. Yet still it persists. So today we're going to go and crack this concept open and look at some alternatives that we can use to reform our social network and find peace of mind. Prepare to have your perceptions challenged. Don't miss this mind-bending episode of the Unseen Nexus. All of the links are featured below in the description. Check us out, subscribe to our channels, leave us your comments, like our videos, and please do share our content with your friends. And on that happy note, I guess we will get started. Joan, you don't exactly know what I have up my sleeve today, so this
I
should be
don't, but I
a stream.
do, if you will.
Okay, you don't, but you do. So
I have some stuff. Yep.
what I have done is made a PDF. Whoops, this is not the right page. I should have had it reset to the beginning. So what I've done is I've probably taken enough information to do 5 shows. And so we're going to just kind of whip through it without too much too much detail. And I'll give you sources where you can go and find out more about this information. But I think it's really important, Joan, because a lot of people do not have healthy dynamics, not within their family, not within their friendships. And there could be a very simple explanation for this, and that is basically we've been doing it wrong. And so I'm going to give some alternatives. And I just want to say a quick hi to Rodney. Hi, Rodney. Perfect timing to catch you all. Yes, indeed, it is. And of course, my dear co-host, Joan Widen, says, welcome, everyone. So, so I made a little a thing here. I'm just going to go into media and take off the a few things that we have here, just to make it less, complicated on the screen. So, Joan, was there anything you wanted to say before we get started?
Yeah, I was going to just say, we could do this in a 2-part thing. If there's, like, if you said there's a lot, because it is really important, because it's an interesting time to be alive right now. And
Yeah.
I think that some of these things can relate to to everyone, right? Just like that story I was telling you right before we went on live. kind of goes with this.
It does. I just want to give a shout out to Melinda Crocker. Hi, nice to see you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to go through it, and it involves a lot more than the victim triangle, but it's taken from a free online course that I have available on my website, but you can also find the playlist on my YouTube channel, and it's called The 9 Steps to Quantum Health Transformation. And so in this um, basically it's a course, an online course. It starts with step 9 and we work our way up to step 1, and each step is loosely associated with one of our chakras. And you might say, well, we only have 7 chakras. No, we have a lot more than that, but we also have one under our feet, which I call black, and one over our head that I call white. The
Oh,
black
that, yeah,
one, or
go
step
ahead.
9, is basically covers the information that we're looking at today. So you can always go to the free online course and learn a whole bunch more. And so today we're going to talk about the victim triangle, but we're going to contrast it with the tool that I use and that I call the champion sphere. And as we get into this, it will make more sense. Hi, Helena. So glad that you could join us today. Yeah, so let's start off by talking some very basic psychology.
So, Karen, can I interject for just 1 second?
Sure.
Okay, so with your first slide where you said you have the black chakra and then the white one.
Yeah.
And so for me, I call the one underneath our feet, I call that our earth soul chakra. And
Yes.
the one that I call your white one, I
Yeah,
would
that's above.
call, yeah, it's like really high
Yeah,
right
it's just
above
like
us.
about here. Yeah.
I call that our earth, so our soul star chakra.
Yes, those are very, very good names, but they totally exist. And since this
Yes.
program comes in 9 different sections, they're also just the way it turned out. You start with step 9 and you work your way up. Those are excellent, excellent names. I'm going to get those from you another time. So now we're going to go into some basic psychology, and a lot of people are familiar with shadow work, and we all have to do shadow work, but nobody wants to because it's yucky. But if we don't do shadow work, we don't find out about the hidden parts of us, the parts of us that we don't want to show. Or perhaps we got a spanking every time we showed that part of us, or we're disciplined or trained that we wouldn't be acceptable if we showed that part of us. And so we stuff it off into the background of our awareness. But then what happens is, because it can't stay there isn't really a place for it because we're supposed to deal with it. And so we start projecting our faults and failings onto other people. And this is called projection. So projection is what we cannot accept in ourselves, we tend to project on others. And this is just a little image here of a image of a symbol of a person, and they're shooting knives off at another person.
Right.
And I know that this is very hard to wrap your head around. A lot of people don't even believe this is true, but there are parts of us that are quite disturbing and parts of us that need looking at, and that's our shadow self. Joan, do you want to say anything about the shadow work or the shadow self?
Absolutely. I actually love this diagram because that's exactly what it is. Is these are the stuff that our parents threw at us, and it's like, as children, be seen, not heard.
Yep.
This becomes our belief systems, right? And then what you were just speaking about, where we project it to others, right?
Yep.
What people don't understand is if you look around your circle or the people that you have attracted within your life, if you have a lot of this stuff that you're projecting out, it's coming right back at you. And your circle or your community you might go, well, why is everyone like this? And it's really
Mm-hmm.
because you are projecting it out, and people are drawn to that. Some people
Mm-hmm.
are, not everyone. And so then it's around you 24/7. So those knives don't ever stop because they keep reiterating it and cementing it instead of you moving forward.
Yep. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So I thought, so as a foundation or a basis for the rest of what we're going to talk about today, it's pretty clear. I wanted you all to understand about projection. And any of these terms, you can Google search it, find out more information, find out, why we do it, whatever, whatever. But I thought this was a good point to start off with. So then we're going to look at the victim triangle. And this is how drama, as most of us face it in our families, in our social networks, perhaps in our religious or work environment. And it always involves three corners. So you've got the victim down at the bottom, and the victim goes, poor me. So and so is persecuting me, or so and so's a racist, or so and so is being mean to me at work. And so they go and they quickly go over and find a coworker or a friend, and they go, oh, this is so horrible because this third person is persecuting me, and I need you to make me feel better. And then the rescuer comes in feeling like Superman. I'll rescue you. I will help you. Let's look at that evil person over there on the other side of the coffee machine. They're a terrible person. They shouldn't be persecuting you. And maybe the two of you do some passive aggressive stuff towards the persecutor. Meanwhile, the persecutor is going, the hell are you talking about? This is all your fault. But the victim never takes responsibility. So I don't know about you guys, but in my family of origin, in my society, I often found myself on the victim triangle. So I would go, oh, my poor me, nothing's my fault. And then I go and find someone to support me, and they go, you need me. So the rescuer feels good. They get a rush of endorphins and stuff because they're rescuing this poor victim who can't possibly find their own way without your help. And then there's the persecutor, which is the one we're pointing our finger at, saying it's all their fault. Everything is their fault. And that's projection, just projecting it all onto somebody else because it's much easier than taking a look at ourselves. So I know, and they go run both ways. So often we form triangles or triads, and we often will trade place because next time the rescuer is now playing the victim, and now the victim is being the rescuer. Oh, I'll come and help you. Meanwhile, everybody's pointing a shitty finger at some poor bastard who maybe they did say something insensitive, maybe they did something wrong. We all do. But do you see how this dynamic plays out in all aspects of our lives? And it doesn't work. Take it away, Joan.
There's also the different part of the victim where everything is my fault, right? So
Mm,
you have the
mm-hmm.
other where it's not my fault, but then you have the flip side where the victim says everything is my fault. I've done this. This is all my fault, right? Like they're not accepting that maybe they just walked into it. They,
Yeah,
wrong place,
yeah,
wrong time kind of thing. But it's the same mentality where
it
and
is.
I'll find someone and it's like having like the dark empaths, right? Where
Yes.
and our friends, our enabler friends, I will say, are the ones that will say, oh, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't feel this way. And oh my goodness, well, I don't know why it's all your fault. Oh, well, you don't ever do anything wrong, right? Like, so even though
Mm-hmm.
they say it's always their fault, then you have your rescuer, and again, it's the same thing. You need
Yeah.
me, and I'm going to tell you why, right? And then the triangle is, well, what are they? what is the victim getting out of each situation? Because guaranteed they are receiving some sort of energy and are feeding off of it, so they feel more important, or they feel like they're alive instead of not being seen
Mhm,
or
mhm.
just being seen. Yeah.
Yep. And again, even the persecutor can become the victim because it
Mm-hmm.
can be, why is everyone picking on me? Why am I being targeted? Do you see how what a mess this is? And it doesn't fix anything.
No.
So and here's another example, and this is of the victim triangle. So the victim feels sad. I'm being persecuted. I'm being suppressed. I'm being treated badly. Sadness. The rescuer comes in with fear, going, oh my God, if I don't save this person, what kind of a Christian am I if I don't try to save them? Or I'm just using that as an example from my own experience, but there's fear. And then the persecutor, who's always get labeled as being the troublemaker, they get
Mm-hmm.
angry because um, it's not fully factual. And so you can see how none of these people on the victim triangle feel good. None of them feel good about their life. It doesn't work. So I
And
just want to say one thing, although
yeah,
this is a familiar pattern, the victim triangle is simplistic and does not fit with the greater emerging reality. It is confining and it perpetuates old paradigm social drama, and this way of perceiving difference must be discarded to make room for new paradigm perceptions and ways of being. And that makes way for what I'm going to get into next, which is the champion sphere model. Joan, did you want me to go back a screen for your
sure.
comment?
Go back to one thing.
Okay.
So this victim triangle can also just be in your head. This can also just be me, myself, and I. You can change
Mm-hmm.
like the right, like, because your
Yes.
mind and your heart and your body, if we do that, so our body, or what, our heart would be the victim,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the
Yep.
persecutor would be our mind, right? Or no, I maybe would be the body and the rescuer would be the mind, right? And so it
Yeah.
starts to make things up, and it starts to, like, you can transfer this to a whole bunch of stuff that's out there. And it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have to be for someone that's external. It could just have been, because sometimes some victims don't ever actually say it out. It's just
Yeah.
within and internal. I just
Yeah.
wanted to point that out because that also is
Good.
a huge thing. Yeah.
It is. It is. Thank you for pointing that out. So we're going to look for something that I have found works really well for me. I'm going to show you my own nubby ball. A nubby ball is a sphere and it's covered in little nubs. And
Okay.
each nub, it doesn't show up very good on here, but you can look at the image I have here on the screen. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
sun, and the rays are coming out in every direction. So if you imagine this is like a nubby ball, it's like the sun. Basically, it has infinite positions on a sphere or on a globe. So there isn't three, there's infinite different positions, which is why I use this. This, by the way, was given to me by my ET contacts. So
I love it.
let's go back to a real basic level. Every person, place, or thing has a light side and a shadow side. I think we can all agree on that. We all have things about us that we all think are all in the love and light, but we also have some things that we could be working on that need improvement. And that could be, or maybe we're just not taking responsibility, and that is our shadow side.
So
And go ahead.
that also, that last picture kind of reminded me of the moon, right? So there's the light
Yeah.
side and there's the dark side. Just
Yeah.
so if anyone, yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
well, you can use any analogy you want that sort of makes it more understandable to you, because these are what we call abstract concepts. So not everybody, figures them out, but I'm hoping I'm bringing this down to a level that we can all talk about it. So I like what you were saying, Joan. It looks like the moon. On one side, you've
Mm-hmm.
got the light side that we see, and you've got the shadow side that we never see. So
Yep.
between the extremes of light and shadow lays an infinite gradient of gray. And this is what I call the nubby ball. So you could have very much in the light, but tiny, tiny bit gray, and it gradually gets darker, darker until you're full on the shadow side. And this is just to illustrate that there are many positions, not three. Three is bullshit. There's infinite numbers of positions. And here
Well,
are
yeah.
also three images that also represent the nubby ball. So you can see it's a sphere. It's covered
Yep.
in nubs or bumps or points. Actually, it's covered in an infinite number because there are as many different positions that you could have on a nubby ball as our construct tool as there are people who are observing life. We all see things from a different vantage point. And I also want to point out that in the image I don't know if it's to my right, to my left, whatever, the one with the plus side in the middle where it shows again the very
Yep.
much like a moon image, you can be all in the light and do the right thing with the right intention. But you could also be on the light side where you're doing the wrong thing for the right intention.
Yeah.
And you can also on the shadow side do the right thing with the wrong intention, or you could do the wrong thing with the wrong intention. None of us really knows what's going on in the mind of another person, even if we think we do, but we know what's going on in our own perceptual arena. And so this just gives you an example how things are much more complex on a social level, just like on every other level. But we were not taught any of this in school. Joan, did you want to make a comment before I
Sure.
continue?
So with this on this screen here, you're right, because you could be doing something that you think is totally in your right, and you feel like you're doing it for the with the utmost intentions, but in
Mm-hmm.
actually it doesn't land because we're essentially almost like preaching or lecturing instead of quote unquote helping or being part of, you know what I mean, having that right thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then um, your last screen there with all the different gradients. For
Mm-hmm.
me, again, I go back to the moon, and the moon
Mm-hmm.
has all these different phases, right? They have the full moon, which is the complete light, and then it goes down, 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 and then it's the dark, which is the new moon. And with all of those different ones as well, each one represents like, so the full moon is when everything is abundant and right, like you're
Yeah.
asking for all your things, and then in the new moon is where you go, okay, these are the things I need to work on. So it's time to look in the dark so that when
Mm-hmm.
it's the full moon, everything comes to light and you have technically, quote unquote, have worked on it in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Makes perfect
there's
sense.
there's so much to this that is so right, because you may think you're doing the right thing, but it's not. And if you're doing the wrong thing, sometimes you don't even realize you're doing the wrong thing,
Yeah.
right? And it just depends on someone else's perception
It does. It
or perception.
absolutely does. And it's impossible to know what another person's motives, intentions, experience, like it goes on and on. So I
Even
just want to
triggers.
say exactly, or triggers. So as I practiced with many issues and situations, I realized that I could use this tool to gain greater understanding of life and on many different levels. And here are some of the benefits. So when you're using a nubby ball as a tool of analysis, it allows us to see more of an issue, situation, or way of being with a more balanced sense of the whole. It assists us to overcome our binary programming and our black, white, positive, negative, up, down, good, or evil worldview, so we can see things as truly complex and dynamic. It allows for a greater degree of self-analysis. It helps us to understand social issues which may have caused us discomfort or awkwardness. It assists us to reconcile cognitive dissonance. It offers us a way to look at issues more analytically and less emotionally. It expands our awareness, which is powerful, and it dissolves conflict. We're going to get into each of these points a little bit more further in, but I just want to give Joan a chance to respond to that.
Oh no, this is great. Keep going. It's it's great. It's good.
Okay.
You keep going for a
So
little bit.
So what I call the champion sphere, which is actually what I call the nubby ball from my free online course, okay? We all share a unique perspective which forms our point of view. And from here, we create our opinions. The nubby ball reminds us that there are as many perspectives as there are beings who observe the world. What was right or wrong, fact or fiction changes over time as it's being observed. As our awareness expands, we step outside of our programming and we create our own reality. This dissolves conflict and eliminates cognitive dissonance. We also lose the need to play common social roles as we embrace authenticity. This tool gives us an opportunity to peer into our own shadow and to do a greater degree of self-analysis and honest self-appraisal. This removes our hypocrisy, making way for an honest way of living. So again, like I said, there are as many reasons why a person does what they does as many as there are people on this planet. And you know what I found out is I used to try to figure everybody out, but then I learned not to, because guess what? It's none of my business. It's none of my business. I got enough of my own business to be worrying about than to be worrying about other people's business. And when I say that it helps to eliminate cognitive dissonance, what that means is I may have a particular belief about something. Could be anything, politics or how to raise children, it doesn't matter. But guess what? Then you get shown a different way of doing it. And right away, we get cognitive dissonance. We go, oh, no, no, I believe that this is supposed to be done this way and that way. But when we have one of these nubby balls to consider as a tool, we go, well, wait a minute. There's as many ways of skinning a cat as there are cats. Pardon that expression. I happen to love cats. There's more ways to crack a nut than you could ever imagine. And who am I to think I know all the ways to crack a nut? No, I don't. And so it helps us to kind of get off of our ideological, or I should, yeah, ideological high horse and come down
Mhm.
open to learning different ways of doing things. And it shows that things are very complex. And you know what? You'll drive yourself crazy if you try to figure it all out, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. For that, I would just say, um, so in where I look at things and all the things that I've kind of read for me, um, is, and I would say Dr. Joe Dispenza says it well,
Mhm.
where it's like we're in this world and this world is in everything, right? And but in this world, we're only, and I think this one is from a different author, Michael A. Singer, where we're only like 0.0000000 like 1 or 0.01, even more percent of what we contribute actually to the universe and into the
Mhm.
world, right? And so we are someone, yes, but if we can disconnect from being someone to everything and everyone, and actually to be no nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if we can just be as we are and not fully
Mhm.
want to be someone,
Mhm.
or do you know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
I know that one's a
we
little
can
bit
be
convoluted, but it's like being here, but not owning what's here.
yeah, not making up a story, to be no
That's right.
thing. Nothing
That's
as
right.
in no thing instead.
No
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Because we are really from going from nothing, right? And
Mhm.
being someone, we got to be no one. And then so we can be everyone, everything at the same time.
Well, yeah, and then we're closer to truth than trying
Yes,
to do the drama from the victim triangle, you know?
absolutely.
It makes way more sense. It requires a certain amount of humility and openness, you know? It's a completely different category. So,
Absolutely.
so when applying the nubby ball to social interactions, there's no point in assigning intention to others because we don't really know what they experience in life or what their true motives might be. We can guess, but their stuff is complex and it's not for us to try to figure out. And as I mentioned earlier, it's really none of our business.
Correct.
Our perceptions are ours alone to care for and adjust as we see fit. There's no need for victim role playing because we quickly mature and we become independent people. And for more on the specific teachings about the Nubby Ball tool, the complete, it's quite in depth, but it's in my free online course available called Quantum Health Transformation Step 9. Hi, Shelley. Nice to see you. I hope you're
Hello.
doing well today. Lovely that you could join us.
Hey,
And then,
Karen,
yeah,
I'm going to step away for a second because I think I have a nubby ball and I want to, I'll see if it shows up on my screen so you can see
okay,
it. Okay?
okay, all right.
You keep talking though, because I
Okay, well, I'll get into this. We already covered this, but we didn't get into any kind of detail. So I'll do a little bit of detail while you're getting hunting for your ball. So, an example of how to use it. Number one, it allows us to see a more balanced sense of the whole. And that can include more of an issue, a situation, or a way of being. So, for instance, there are all different kinds of people who have different spiritual beliefs. Well, that a nubby ball helps us to go, of course, there's many different spiritual beliefs as there are people. Or you could look at a situation like your economic status, and you can go, yeah, sure. If you look at a nubby ball, I understand that. We're all different earning potentials and all kinds of things, or a way of being. Like, for instance, some people might be vegetarians, some people might be carnivore, but it puts you in the position where you don't have to make the judgment that that person is wrong and I am right. I don't have to make myself right so that I can feel like a whole productive person. Not at all. I can see that I'm not right and I don't care about being right because it's a stupid concept. Joan, did you find your nubby ball? You you do have a nubby ball. See? It's just like it shows up better.
think it's because you're green screen, but otherwise,
Yeah, because I have a green screen. That's why it's not working. But Joan has the perfect example of a nubby ball. Yeah. And it has an infinite number of nubs. And you
yes,
can quickly see how it will drive you crazy if you try to figure out other people or even other situations, you know? Oh, that's awesome. So
absolutely.
the other thing about the nubby ball is it assists us to overcome our binary program, black or white, positive or negative, up or down, good or evil. Things are actually much more complex and dynamic. And instead of using the word or, use the word and. So what that's going to give you is up down, and somewhere in between up and down. So you take your nubby ball, and if you figure the very top nub is the North Pole and the very bottom nub is the South Pole, there's infinite positions between up and down, between good and evil, between black and white. It's all being left out because we're told we live in a binary system of this or that. But the truth is, and this is really important, the truth is you can have this or that and something else and something else and something else because we're living in a complete unbridled potential where we can have it all. And I'm just wondering, before I'll just cover number 3, it allows for a greater degree of self-analysis. So what I did with my nubby ball is I thought, I'm a pretty generous person, except when I'm not. And so the opposite nub on my nubby ball is, no, I'm not a generous person. So then I could think about what times when I could have been more generous, times when I could have been more loving. And what that does is it exposes our shadow side without a bunch of guilt or recriminate, whatever the word is. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I'll just stop there in case you have anything you want to add, Joan.
Well, there's just so many different facets to everything, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
you, it's about the judgment piece really, and it's what we place on ourselves on certain situations. And
Mm-hmm.
so for like for example, like what you just said, like were there times where I could be more loving, but what if you were loving and you were overly loving?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like a smother kind of love, right? When you overstoke the fire and you actually
Yeah.
blow out the fire because you're too zealous on trying to make this fire perfect. But
Yep.
what is perfection?
What
Perfection.
does that even mean? And depends on
Yeah.
whose perspective you're looking at. Again, I'm going to
Hmm.
actually do a podcast coming up on how to get to the center of your nubby ball. So we've got all these different options on the surface of the nubby ball, but the truth of the matter is not one position is better than another. They're all important, but what's important is getting to the center. And how you get to the center, this is going to sound very strange, and only good people will understand this. And that is, we need to be a little bit less evil and we need to be a little less good because that's not always the answer. Again, those are dichotomies of extremes that are not even necessarily real or in our best interest.
Correct. And
So
really that's
go ahead.
sorry, really for me that would be like a little less evil, a little less like good would be, and this is just my opinion, is coming from a place of love, but not like I love you, right? Like just in the love of things. Like it's not even of things. I don't even know how to explain it. So if you were
Mm-hmm.
to look at things and go, okay, just feel love about it, then there is no good, there is no evil. You're just, it's almost like the love makes you content and you're just
Mm-hmm.
right. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Abs- Absolutely does. Hi, Denise. So glad you could make it. You never have to be sorry when you're late or if you have to miss a show. I love you to bits, and you're such a good moderator. And I'm just so happy that you could join us at any point. Okay, so
Absolutely.
I want to delve a bit into number 4. It helps us. We're talking, Denise, about a nubby ball, or also could be called the champion sphere, as opposed to the victim triangle. Number 4 says it helps us to understand social issues which may have caused us discomfort or awkwardness. And I'll give you an example. If I go into a social situation, I generally feel uncomfortable. And I might think that other people are talking about me and laughing about what I'm wearing or something. But the truth might be, those people aren't even aware that I'm there. talking about something else they find is funny. I don't have to constantly assign intentions and motives to other people. I can just let it be. I can remember one time that I had been very sick and I'd lost a lot of weight. And I went out for a walk one day and I saw somebody that I knew quite well. And I raised my hand and I waved to them. And they just looked right through me. And afterwards, I thought, they must really hate me. But then I realized I'd lost a lot of weight. They probably didn't even recognize me. And they were probably trying to figure out who the heck was this woman who was waving at them. So you see, once you have a nubby ball, you can just say, I got a nubby ball and I know how to use it. I actually want to get a t-shirt made balls that says, I have nubby balls. So I have a nubby ball. I know how to use it. So in my mind, I can just go, you know what? It feels like those people over there are making fun of me, or maybe they think the way I'm dressed is silly, or whatever, right? No, maybe not at all. Maybe not at all. Maybe we're not as important as we even think we are. And it helps you to kind of just shrug it off and go, well, I don't know. I'm just going to be happy and have a good time, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes absolute sense. And I'm going to give you an example of something that is kind of like that.
Sure.
I was at my youngest, she was in pre-kindergarten, like so
Mm-hmm.
preschool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was like a gathering. So all like other parents were there. I was there with her. And then as parents, we sat in a circle while our kids pretty much just played.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone asked what everyone did, right? So I said, kind of reluctantly, what I did. I said I worked in the intuitive arts, and people are like, "What? What do you mean?" And then I said, "Well, I'm psychic. I give readings and I talk to dead people, right?" And right away, someone says to me, "Don't read me. Like, what? Like, I don't want you to read me." Just like that. And
Mm-hmm.
right away, I looked at her and I went, "I'm off." And so I'm not working. And if I were, and I, and you weren't coming to me for a reading, and this was maybe not the greatest, finest moment, but I did say to her, I said, why would you think that I would be like TMZ and actually want to look into your life? Why do you think your life is that important that I actually want to peer into it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's a very, very good point. Absolutely.
Right? Like, so that was like
And
a thing back to her. And then everyone else just kind of went, oh, okay.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
But there,
literally,
there, there you go. So that woman, she might have had a really bad day thinking you knew something about her that she's trying to hide. Maybe she's having an affair or God knows what.
that's
Who
right.
knows? Who knows what people do? You don't even want to know what most people do. But anyway, so that's a really good point, and thank you for that, Joan. So number five, as I said before, it assists us to reconcile cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is when you believe one thing and you're shown proof that it's a different way. But you've been believing it that way all your life. You know, maybe you believe that green beans are toxic and you believed it all your life, and then you found out green beans are super good for you. I'm just using that as an example. So when you have a nubby ball, I got a nubby ball and I know how to use it. I can go, you know what? There's all kinds of things I don't know, and I'm open to learning. Number six is it offers us a way to look at issues more analytically and less emotionally as we no longer take things personally. So that's the thing. All of us come from a different vantage point. We're seeing the world and everything in it in a completely different perspective. Even if we had the same situation and we had 10 people describe it, they would describe it all differently because we have a unique way of looking at things. And I feel that I want people to respect my way of seeing things, so I want to respect their way. They maybe haven't been where I've been, haven't done what I've done. There could be a whole lot of reasons, but one thing is I'm not going to waste my precious time and energy on trying to figure it all out all the time. We live in such an information driven society right now that sometimes I feel like I'm going to go nuts. I don't want to learn another new thing. So number 7 is it expands our awareness, which is powerful. And number 8, it dissolves conflict by showing us that everyone has their own unique perspective. So while you're looking at things more analytically using your nubby ball, you're not freaking out on an emotional level. And then you can think better and you can make decisions better. And this is almost over. Joan, did you have anything you want to say before I just quick
Um,
touch on the hero's journey?
well, just if we're always trying to figure out what everything is, it's really tough. And that's extremely exhausting. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, because when
mhm.
we're always trying to adapt, do you know what I mean? Instead of just adapting for us and adapting for the things around us per se, it's
Mhm.
really draining on the energy. And then we are trying to become someone instead of,
Yeah,
right? Instead of just
yeah,
being us, right?
yeah.
Which is the
Or
soul
yeah,
within the body.
so we can be more authentic.
That's correct. Instead of,
So
yeah,
we
sorry, go ahead.
So we, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all good.
So we talked about the victim triangle, why that doesn't work. Everyone pretty much recognizes the pattern. Then I showed you another way of looking at it. It's not the only way. The nubby ball is not the only conceptual tool that will help you, but it's better than me just telling you, throwing you out there and saying, find your own way and do it different. It's at least a stepping off point that you can use this tool until you come up with one of your own. And that leads us to the hero's journey, which we could spend a whole podcast doing the hero's journey. I've got 2 different examples, but it's pretty much the same. You start off in the known reality, and in the known reality everyone's got a victim triangle, everybody knows how to do that. Then you go, nope, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to start looking for other ways of doing life that works. And you step out from the known into the
Right?
unknown. And now you're on the hero's journey. And on the first half, imagine this being like each of these being like a clock. So around the 2 o'clock, you step off into the unknown and you discover. So you start going down rabbit holes, you start doing research, you start following different presenters and psychologists and stuff on YouTube, and you start learning. And so it just happens that these helpers show up kind of where you least expect it. Even your own YouTube algorithm will start throwing these videos into your place. And once you've learned a certain amount, you face challenges and you chase, you have tests and you meet allies and you meet some enemies, and it can be a little confusing. And then at the 6 o'clock position, we end up in the abyss. And the abyss is a yucky place. It feels like depression. It's also known as the dark night of the soul. That is when we really see our whole selves, our shadow side, our good side. And yeah, when I started discovering shadow aspects of myself, I found it quite disturbing and depressing. But then when you're ready, you start to come out of it because now you've done the huge transition work and you start to come out of it and you get into revelation, transformation, then what they call atonement. And that's when you start doing things a bit differently. And then there's the return back to the known. So now the unknown becomes the known, and you have now spiraled your way into a whole new, higher way of being, a higher frequency being. And there's nothing like it. So before I close out this, Joan, did you want to speak to the hero's journey?
Sure. So, if we will, it's probably like a not the greatest analogy, but it's kind of like someone getting incarcerated, right? Put in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Mm-hmm.
going through this thing, and then something totally erupts, and then they end up in solitary confinement. What is
Mm-hmm.
that? That's the abyss, right? Because
Yep. Yep.
everyone, because now you're isolated, you're alone, and you have to thank, who do you have to thank? Yourself, me and myself and
Mm-hmm.
I, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
have to look at everything. And then as you go through it, you know, you reform, you return
Yes.
to who you are. Yeah, I
You
just
become
wanted
a
to say it
better
that way. Yes,
version. Yeah, you become a better version of who you are.
that's
And
right.
it's so good. Let me just go back to the beginning, and I'm not going to spend time on each one, but I'm just going to, for those who came in later, going to quickly talk
But
about the
that's
victim
why,
triangle, which is we were exposing that as being a pattern that's really common in our lives, and it doesn't work, and why it doesn't work. Doesn't make anybody happy. And then we talked about the nubby ball, and we took a look at our shadow and our light side. And then we realized that there are infinite numbers of shades of gray when we're going from our light side, which would be when we're at our very, very best, right over to our shadow side where we might be doing our very, very worst. It gives you an idea of how complex we are. Then we talked about what the nubby ball, these are just shapes that are tools. Basically, they are abstract tools to help you figure out where you're at on a nubby ball, and that there's many different reasons why some people do the right thing. I know there's all kinds of people who would donate tons and tons of money to charity, and yet they're absolute evil bastards, you know? And
it's
there are
true.
people there where we're running around trying to do the right thing, but we're not doing it with the right intention. So we covered
Yes,
that.
a
And
lot of
we covered
activists are that
all
way,
of, yeah.
right?
And that leads us to the hero's journey. But Joan, we could actually spend a whole thing on the hero's journey. It's really important. It's very, very interesting process. But these
Absolutely.
concepts have helped me more than any psychologist or counselor. I'm not giving medical advice, so I'm not telling you to stay away from professional help. I'm not saying that, but I am saying, why don't you give this a whirl and just practice and see what it does in your own life.
All these things too are additional tools to what you're already doing with a counselor or whichever, right? It's
Mhm.
never to replace, right? So it's just a different way, and it might help you get that aha moment to go, oh, okay, that's that one thing that I was missing that I wasn't quite sure of, right? There is a
Mhm.
reason why people that are incarcerated turn to God afterwards or become very spiritual afterwards, right? Because
Mhm.
they have to go within to really find out all these things.
Mhm.
And if they don't, they end up back, typically, right? In my
And
opinion.
no, I think you're right. You're right on the money with that. I spent many, many years being very depressed. Couldn't figure out why I couldn't make my life work. Why I was different, why my everything was different. It was just conflict and misunderstandings. And one day, actually, it was after I had that experience where I was out for a walk and I saw someone I knew and I waved to them and they didn't wave back. And I was devastated. I was thought, they don't like me anymore. They're supposed to be my friend. What's going on here? Like I got really bent out of shape. And actually, this is going to be too much information, but I'll just tell you the honest truth. I was sitting on the toilet thinking about it. And then I got this image in my mind's eye of this nubby ball. And I started downloading information about how to use it. Blew my mind and it helped me so much. So, anyway, that's why it's in part of step 9 in the 9 Steps to Quantum Health Transformation program that's free and available on my website or my YouTube. You want the 3.0 version if you're looking for the playlist on my YouTube channel.
So to
Yeah.
expand on being in the bathroom, just to expand, the reason why you would have gotten like the vision and stuff is because there's water there, and water is an energy transformation and it amplifies it. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, a lot of people come up with all kinds of
Yes,
ideas that change their life in the shower, in the bathtub,
at the
sitting
lake,
on
at
the
the ocean.
toilet. Exactly. I think, yeah. So that's how it happened for me. And like I said, I would love to actually down the road get some merch and get some t-shirts that got the nubby ball on, but I'm going to wait till the concept gets a little bit better known because right now it wouldn't make much sense to people. Yeah.
No, this is great. I love it. It was exactly, see, and look at here's I told you I had some books because
Yeah.
you like you don't know. And I'm like, okay, well here's what I had to get ready for it. Was look, here's this. Oh, wait, there.
Mirror work.
That's one book.
Mirror work. Yeah.
And then can you read this?
It says breaking.
The
No, I can't
habit
read.
of being yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And then the next book, the last book that I had, because I felt like I had to have all these sitting with me, was this one.
Mind control mode. I don't know if any of what I said today resonates with any of those books, but I'm sure that that my ideas are not unique to me. I have no idea where I got it from. Maybe it's a whole accumulation of information. Maybe I touch on something that other authors have already written about. I don't know. I just
You just
understand it.
downloaded it.
I just download it and share it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's how it goes. This is funny what Shelley says. She says, Karen, I took it you were more of a bidet person. You know what, Shelley? If I had the financial situation for a bidet, damn straight I would have a bidet. I'm definitely
Right?
a bidet girl. You caught me right on. Sorry, I know that's too much information.
Doesn't
But
matter. We're not actually talking about the actual thing. We're talking about
yeah,
equipment.
yeah.
No,
So
like,
yeah,
yeah,
there's basically once you get off the victim triangle, recognize it and get off it, things can only ever improve. So Joan, we're quickly running out of time. I'm wondering if you
yes,
want to tell people what you're up to, where they can find you, all
sure.
that good stuff.
Okay.
Of course, the links are below.
Yes. Okay. So, again, you can find me on my website. My name, joanwiden.com. I've got Journey with Joan, and it's on in the links below, and also my YouTube channel at Joan Widen Clairvoyant Medium. If you could like and subscribe, that would be great as well. And this weekend, I will be traveling to Saskatoon. So I will be at the Health and Wellness Show. So if you would like to come see me, if you are near Saskatoon, I'd love you to come see me. And I'm just waiting for a link um, from the show. And so if you do want to DM me, and I can get you tickets to go to the show for free also. But yes,
Awesome.
all my links are below. And how about you, Karen? Take it away. Tell us everything, what you're up to.
Uh, what am I up to? Tomorrow is the fourth Wednesday of the month Quantum Guide Show. So it's a conspiracy panel. We're going to cover all things cryptids. And then on Sunday, I'm having Kevin Michael Estrella back, and he's well known for his work with the Ponti, which is gray aliens from Zeta Reticula. But he's had a lot of other experiences, including transdimensional experiences. So we're going to be delving into that on we're going to be delving into that on Sunday. And
Nice.
that's about it. We're still having some beautiful weather here in Alberta. I know we're going to
Love
get
it.
snow and it's going to get really cold really soon. So I'm probably going to go out for a nice walk this afternoon. And I love the way the leaves are so crispy here, they scuttle along as I'm
I
walking.
like how
It's
it
quite lovely.
crunches.
Yeah, I do. I love crunchy sounds for sure. And that's about it for me. Joan, hang on after we close out the show. I just want to have a quick
Yeah,
question for you and a couple
absolutely.
more. Rodney Letman said, thanks for some thought provocativeness. Oh, you're welcome.
Very
And
welcome.
Denise says, yay. And thank you, everybody who joined us today. I really appreciate those of you who make the time in your life to join us in the live chat, really enhances the program. But I'm also grateful for everybody who's listening on an audio podcast or on video on Joan's channel or my channel. I appreciate everybody so very, very much. So, Joan, I
Me
guess
too.
that's it. Unless you have any final word, we'll close out the show.
I think we're good, and it's happy being you guys, right? Let's champion each other and know that, we're all doing our best and we are really figuring out this world for us, right? And
That's right.
I want to say to Rodney earlier, he said, so you mean the world doesn't revolve around me? Well, your world revolves around you.
Your world revolves around you for sure. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
thank
All
you,
right,
everyone.
everybody. Hope you all have an awesome week. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.